Thank you for joining this lesson. Welcome everyone. This is STEM Smart Academy. We are going to discuss the Nairobi Muslim Academy Mathematics Paper 2, the section 1 of it. So before we start, make sure you've subscribed, liked and shared our videos with your other friends so that they can also join and enjoy this lesson with us. Share the link widely to them so that they also benefit from this wonderful lesson. I'm seeing people following from all over Kenya. Someone is following from Garissa High School. That is excellent. I'm going to simplify this particular concept. Now, let us look at question number 1 of this paper. We are going to question number 1, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very interesting paper, which, as you wait for your Kcse exams, you should not miss watching this. It says, given that x is equal to 48.5 centimeters and y is equal to 30.2 centimeters, are both measured correct to the nearest millimeter, calculate the percentage error in x minus y. So when you look at it, that they're being measured correct to the nearest millimeter, which is 0.1. You know, a millimeter is like 0.1 centimeters. That's what you need to know, because 1 centimeter is equals to 10 millimeter. So when they talk about the nearest millimeter, that means 1 millimeter is like saying 0.1 centimeters. That is, in other words, to 1 decimal place. We need to get the absolute error for each measurement. How do we get the absolute error for each measurement? We are going to take half of the smallest unit of the measurement. Because the smallest unit of the measurement here is 0.1 centimeters, half of 0.1, when you have, I want to get the absolute error of each measurement. When you take 0.1, which is the number of decimal places, you divide by 2, this exactly gives you 0.05 centimeters. So when I have x, it can be, our x can be 48.45, 48.45 when you minus 0.05, and when you add 0.05 it becomes 48.55. This is our x. Our y can be 30.15 when you minus 0.05, but when you add 0.05 it should be 30.25. This is our y. So let us get the actual. Allow I start by getting actual. When I talk about actual, I'm talking about x minus y, the actual values of x minus the actual value of y. The actual value of x is 48.5 minus the actual value of y, which is 30.2. This gives you an actual difference of 48.5 minus 30.2 gives you 13.3 centimeters. That is the actual measurement, the actual difference between the two values. We can also get the maximum difference. To get the maximum difference, I'm going to take the biggest value of x, that is 48.55, minus the smallest value of y, which is 30.15. This exactly gives, when you subtract, that gives you 48.55 minus 30.15, you get 18.4. Then we can also get the minimum. With the minimum difference, you take the smallest value of x, which is 48.45, minus the biggest value of y, which will be 30.25. So when you take 48.45 minus 30.25, you exactly get 18.2. Is it? Am I doing it? Let me check. I've said, just a moment, let me see. I've taken 48 point, the actual gave me 13.3. The actual, let us see this particular question. I'm seeing majority of the learners are following up so keenly. That is excellent and quite commendable. So this should have been 18.2. This value here, it was 18.3. Here, the actual difference was 18.3. I think that's where I was not getting right. Then now 48.45 minus 30.25, this gives you 18.2. Now, after getting those differences, I can get now what is called absolute error, which is given by the maximum value, 18.4, minus the minimum value, 18.2, divided by 2. So this gives us an absolute error of 0.1. That is our absolute error. After getting this now as our absolute error, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to get what is called the percentage error. The formula for getting percentage error, it is the error over the actual value times 100%. Our error in this case is 0.1 over the actual, which is 18.3, then multiply this by 100%. This becomes, so 0.1 divided by 18.3 times 100, you get 0.5464%. That is the percentage error in that particular question. That is the percentage error in that particular question, ladies and gentlemen. Question number 2, we have find the value of C for which 2x squared minus 10x plus C is a perfect square. For something to be a perfect square, then the rule should be A times C should be equal to B over 2 squared. Our A here is 2, our B is negative 10, then our C is, the constant is just C. So A times C, I'm meaning 2 times C, this becomes 2C, is equal to B, which is negative 10. Divide this by 2, then you square this. So this becomes 2C is equivalent to negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. Negative 5 squared becomes 25. Then if 2C is equal to 25, then C will be given by 25 divided by 2. Therefore, our C becomes 12.5. Or you can talk about 12 and a half. So that is the value of C. That is our value of C for that particular case. You can see how simple mathematics is. All you need is to have a better understanding of the formula in use, then everything will become very simple for you. Allow now I go to the next question. That is question number 3 of this beautiful paper. Solve the equation log to base 10 of x minus 15 is equal to 2 minus log to base 10 of x. Step number 1, I convert these two to log to base 10 to log of base 10. So I can say log to base 10 of a certain number k should give me 2. This is the logarithmic equation. In index notation, what I know is that 10 power 2 is equal to 2. So it is equals to k. But what is 10 power 2? 10 power 2 is 100. So this means now I can write my equation as log to base 10 of x minus 15 should be equal to, instead of saying 2, 2 can be now written as log to base 2 of 100. Sorry, log to base 10 of 100. Log to base 10 of 100 minus log to base 10 of x. That should be the first step. After having that as our first step, on the left hand side I'm going to apply a principle that says, look at this law, that says log a minus log b is equivalent to saying the log of a over b. When I apply that principle to the right hand side of my equal sign, I'll be having log to base 10 of x minus 15 should be equivalent to log to base 10 of 100 over x. Have you seen that particular step? Very, very important. Now, after getting that as our next equation, we have a principle that says when you've equated numbers with logs with the same basis, we are going to drop the logs and proceed with the powers. So when we drop the logs, I'm dropping the log to base 10. I'm now going to have x minus 15 should be equal to 100 over x. X minus 15 should now be equivalent to 100 over x. So when you are here, you can multiply each term. When you have x minus 15 being equivalent to 100 over x, I can multiply each term here by x, also here by x, the whole of this by x. This and this cancel out. Once they cancel out, we are going to remain with, make sure you are following this keenly. So this will become x times x, this will become now x squared. X times negative 15, that is minus 15x, should now be equivalent to 100. Very interesting. So here, this can, the 100 can cross to the left, where we are going now to have x squared minus 15x minus 100 is equal to 0. So that is what we are having. That is the quadratic equation. We've now formed what we call a quadratic equation. What do we do there? We need to get two numbers whose sum is negative 15 and the product is negative 100. Can we think of these numbers ideally? Yes. The numbers, so when I look at the numbers, I want to get two numbers whose sum is negative 15 and whose product is negative 100. The two numbers here should be negative 20 and 5. So this will be x squared minus 20x plus 5x minus 100 is equals to 0. Putting them into pairs, we can see X squared minus 20x, the common factor here is x, we factor it out. So this will be x into x minus 20, then plus 5 into x minus 20 is equal to 0. Those that are outside the bracket, we are going to wrap them in one bracket. So this is now going to be x plus 5, then x minus 20 should be equivalent to 0. In the first case, I have x plus 5 is equal to 0. This means x is equal to negative 5. In the next case, I have x minus 20 is equal to 0. That means my x is equal to positive 20. So I've got two values of x, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to take this question with the highest level of concern it deserves. There is something this question is testing, and majority of the learners might not get it exactly well. Remember, all this is being brought to you free of charge by STEM Smart Academy. Let us summarize it now. After getting two values of x, I'm now going to say here that my x is equivalent to negative 5 or positive 20. Negative 5, or I can say x is equal to positive 20. But now, are we going to leave those as our answers? No. There is a very important thing here. We need to understand that if this is what we are having, we have to check the solutions against this domain. So when x is negative 5, for example, I'm going to have negative 5 minus 15, that becomes negative 20. Log to base 10 of negative 20, you can see now that one becomes impossible. X cannot be negative in this case. We are now going to sum our answer and finally conclude by saying that therefore our value of x should be positive 20. It cannot be negative 5. X cannot be a negative number in this case of logs. I hope that has been well understood. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive to question number 4. Let us dive to question number 4, a question on surds. Simplify 10 all over root 5 minus 2 minus 5 over root 5 without using a calculator, giving your answer in the form of a plus b root c, where a, b, and c are integers. Key points to take home here. So when you have 10 over 5, over root 5 minus 2, this is root 5 minus 2, then minus 5 over root 5. What is the LCM, ladies and gentlemen? The LCM of our denominator here is the product of the two. So it will be root 5 into root 5 minus 2. That's our LCM. So when I take LCM divided by the first denominator, the root 5 minus 2 and root 5 minus 2, root 5 minus 2 cancel out. I'll be getting 10 root 5 here. Then root 5 and root 5 cancel. I'll now be having minus 5 into root 5 minus 2. That is the first step. Opening the brackets, this will be 10 root 5 minus 5 root 5, then plus 10. Remember, negative 5 times negative 2 become positive 10. all over. Let us open the brackets in the denominator. Root 5 times root 5 becomes root 25. But now the root of 25 is 5. The root of 25 is 5. So this will be like saying 5 minus root 5. Root 5 times 2, negative 2, this becomes minus 2 root 5. There we are. When you are at this particular point, 10 root 5 minus 5 root 5, this will become 5 root 5, 5 root 5 plus 10 all over 5 minus 2 root 5. I hope up to that particular point that concept has well been understood as we are progressing with the question. So now learners, we are now having 5 root 5 plus 10 all over 5 minus 2 root 5. What are we going to do here, ladies and gentlemen? We need to rationalize the denominator by multiplying through by the conjugate. The conjugate is 5 plus 2 root 5. Also the numerator will multiply by 5 plus 2 root 5. I'm rationalizing our denominator. See how I'm going now to do this multiplication. 5 root 5 times 5, that becomes 25 root 5. 5 root 5 times 2 root 5, that becomes 10 root 25. What is 10 root 25, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, root 25 is like saying 5. So that will be like saying 10 times 5 to give you a 50. So this will be plus 50. Then 10 times 5 is also plus 50 again. 10 times 2 root 5, this becomes plus 20 root 5. All over. This is like a difference of 2 squares. This is 5 squared, which is just like saying 25. Minus, this is like saying 2 root 5 squared. 2 root 5 squared is just like saying 4 times 5, which is 20. So this will become 25 root 5 plus 20 root 5, this becomes 45. 45 root 5 plus 100 all over 25 minus 20, that is 5. In the numerator, we can factor out 5. 5 is common. When I factor out 5 in the numerator, what are we going to have? Allow I factor out 5. So when I factor out 5, I'll now be left with 9 root 5 plus 20 all over 5. Then this 5 and this 5 can cancel out. Then I can have, my answer is 9 root 5 plus 20. Because they want in this format, I can rearrange now and say, this is like saying 20 plus 9 root 5. 20 plus 9 root 5 as the solution to that particular problem. I hope you've understood exactly what we've done there, ladies and gentlemen, and there is nothing at all to make you learners be worried. Remember, math requires a daily practice. For you to excel in mathematics, then you must be practicing on daily basis so that literally you understand what is being required of you as a learner. Let me make progress to the next question. Allow I make progress to the next question. Allow I make progress to question number 5 now. This is a Form 3 question under the topic circles, chords, and tangents. Under the topic circles, chords, and tangents. Let us see how to tackle it. In the figure below, AD is the diameter of a circle, center O. AB is the tangent to the circle at point A. BC is 7 centimeters and CB is 9 centimeters. Find the radius of the circle to 2 decimal places. Find the radius of the circle to 2 decimal places. There is a relationship existing between a tangent that is cutting the diagonal from one point and a chord that is extending outside. And the relationship is, I want us to understand the relationship. I want we understand the relationship first. It's going to help us a lot. It's going to help us a lot. And how do you know that it helps? You should be aware that I'm trying to see, find the radius of the circle. They want this measurement. I can say AB squared is equals to BD multiplied by BD multiplied by BC. So this means that my AB squared can be given by BD. What's our BD? Our BD is 9 plus 7, which is 16, multiplied by the BC, which is 9. So my AB squared will be given by, when you take 16, then you multiply that 16 by 9, you exactly get 144. Now if AB squared is 144, then to get AB you need to get the square root of 144. So that means that AB is equals to 12 centimeters. This measurement here is 12 centimeters. After getting that as the measurement of AB, there is a property that you need to relate. We do say that the radius of the circle intersects with the tangent of a circle at 90 degrees. So we have some 90 degrees there. When I transform that into a standing right angle triangle, the point where 90 degrees is A, this can be B, this can be D. AB, I found this as 12, DB is 16. I can get the length DAD using the Pythagoras theorem. Allow I get the length AD. How do we get AD now, ladies and gentlemen? AD will be given as the square root of 16 squared minus 12 squared. That is when you follow the Pythagoras theorem. Therefore, our AD will be, let us see, 16 squared minus 12 squared. This gives you 112. Then when you square root it, you get 10.58. Are they giving us the number of decimal places? Yes, 10.58 centimeters. But what is this AD? AD is basically the diameter of your circle. 10.58 centimeters. What is this AD? AD is basically the diameter of your circle. 10.58 centimeters. But what is this AD? AD is basically the diameter of your circle. 10.58 centimeters. But what is this AD? AD is basically the diameter of your circle. 10.58 centimeters. But what is this AD? So this means that our diameter is now the 10.58 meters. Hence, because we want the radius, to get the radius we are going to take the diameter 10.58, you divide this by 2. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the radius of our circle will be, when you take 10.58 divided by 2, you get 5.59. 5.29 centimeters. That becomes the radius of our circle. 5.29 becomes the answer on what we've been working through. I think that one has been well elaborated. Question number 6. We are now moving to question number 6, ladies and gentlemen. Make n the subject of the formula. R over P is equal to M all over the root of n minus 1. So when you have such a question, how should we approach it? So let me have it here. We have R over P, which is equivalent to M all over the root of n minus 1. The first step, in order to make n the subject, we need to get rid of this square root. To get rid of that square root, we are going to square each term. I'll square the denominator, I'll square the numerator here, I'll also square R, and I'll square P. So once I do the squaring, this is now going to become R squared over P squared, R squared over P squared. This is now equivalent to M squared. Then the square and the square root here cancel. So this will be over n minus 1. Upon reaching here, what do? We cross multiply. This becomes R squared into n minus 1 is equal to M squared P squared. Then we open the brackets on the left hand side. This becomes R squared n minus R squared. This should be equivalent to M squared P squared. We've reached there. After reaching this particular step, the next thing we do, the R squared can move to the right hand side, where now we can have R squared n is equivalent to M squared P squared plus R squared. To get rid of this R squared to remain with n, so I'm going to have, we are having this as M squared P squared over R squared plus 1, because R squared and R squared cancel out and become 1. So that is how you make n the subject of the formula for question number 6. Let us make progress. Let us make progress with the next question. Let us make progress with the next question. We are being told in question number 6, is it 6 really? No, question number 7 now. We are headed to question number 7. Expand 1 plus 3 over 10x to the power of 5 in increasing powers of x, leaving the coefficients as fractions in their simplest form. So let us do this. This will become 1 power 5 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 0. Then 1 power 4 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 1. 1 power 3 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 2. 1 power 2 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 3. 1 power 1 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 4. Then 1 power 0 into negative 3 over 10x to the power of 5. Then we need now to go to the log table and bring the coefficients of 5. So let me get to my log table. I'm doing everything here so that you can follow along. I'm going to the Pascal's triangle. Where is it? The binomial coefficients. The coefficients of 5 are 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So let us insert the coefficients. When we insert, this will be like saying, when I take 1 times 1 to the power of 5 times negative 3 over 10x power 0, that will be 1. Remember, any number raised to the power of 0 is a 1. 5. So in this other case, I have 5 times 1 power 4 times negative 3 over 10. So that's like saying 5 times negative 3 over 10 to the power of 1. That becomes 3 over 2. So this will be plus, no, so not plus but minus 3 over 2x. Then in this case it will be now plus. We have negative 3 over 10 squared. I have negative 3 over 10 squared. Once I square it, I'll be getting 9 over 100. Then I multiply this by 10. That becomes 9 over 10. So this will become now 9 over 10x squared. Then minus, this is now I have 3 over 10 cubed, that is 27 over 1000, multiplied by 1 squared by 10. This becomes 27 over 100. 27 over 100 x cubed. After getting that, after getting it that way, the next will be now plus. I have negative 3 over 10 raised to the power of 4. That is raised to power 4. That becomes 81 over 10,000. Then you multiply this by 5. This becomes 81 over 2000. 81 over 2000 x power 4. Then finally we have minus I have here negative 3 over 10 raised to the power of 5. This becomes negative 243 over 100,000. So this becomes minus 243 over 100,000 x power 5. That is how we've expanded it. We are done with that expansion part. Now we can see the next question. Hence, use the first three terms of the expansion to estimate the value of these. The value of 0.97 power 5. The first thing we are going to do, we are going to equate these two. So 1 minus 3 over 10x, 1 minus 3 over 10x should be equal to 0.97. So this means 3 over 10x will be equivalent to 1 minus 0.97. So this means that 3 over 10x is equal to 0.03, and this will mean that what will be our value of x? When you take 0.03 divided by 3 over 10, this gives you exactly 0.1. Our x is 0.1. After getting now the value of x as 0.1, remember, when they say the first three terms, they are simply referring to 1 minus 3 over 2x, then plus 9 over 10x squared. Those are the first three terms. When you substitute x now to this equation, we are going to have this as 1 minus 3 over 2 into 0.1 plus 9 over 10 into 0.1 squared. This becomes 1 minus, when you take 3 over 2 times 0.1, you get 0.15, then plus 9 over 10 into 0.1 squared. You are going to get this as 0.09. Then now let us sort it. This exactly gives you 0.859. As the answer to that question number 8 on binomial expansion. Question number 9. So question number 8 now. Question number 8 is from mixtures, that is form 3 work once again. Grade A rice costing 250 shillings per kg is mixed with grade B rice costing 180 shillings per kg. In what ratio must grade A rice be mixed with grade B rice so that a profit of 20% is realized by selling the blend at 240 shillings per kg? In what ratio must they be mixed so that a profit of 20% is realized by selling the blend at 240 shillings per kg? That means when we sell it at 240 shillings per kg, a profit of 20% is realized. So what is the cost price first of all? Let me get the cost price. Cost price of the mixture per kg. This will give you 120. If 240 is equals to 120%, what about 100? So this will be 100 times 240. Divide this by 120. This will become exactly 200 shillings as the cost price. After getting 200 shillings as the cost price, I can now use what is called, if this is 250, I can use the Pearson square method. B is 180, the cost price is 200. To get the ratio is now becoming very simple. 200 minus 180, this is 20. 250 minus this is 50. So the ratio is 20 is to 50, which is 2 is to 5. The ratio becomes 2 is to 5. Or let me show you another method. Method 2, I'll have here, I can say let the ratio be x is to y. I can take 250 times x plus 180 times y over the total ratio x plus y. This should give me the cost of the mixture, the cost price of the mixture, which is 200. When you cross multiply, you get 250x plus 180y is equals to 200y plus 200x. Collecting like terms, I can have this as 250x minus 200x should be equivalent to 200y minus 180y. So this becomes 50x is equals to 20y. If I want to write it the ratio of x is to y, I can divide through by 50, also here by 50. So I'll have x being equivalent to 20 over 50 y. If I want to get rid of this y here, I'll divide both sides by y. So when I divide both sides by y, I'll have x over y is equals to 20 over 50. Remember this 20 over 50, so this will be x over y will be equal to 2 over 5. Therefore, if that is the case, it means now x is to y will be equivalent to 2 is to 5. Still, you can see all the two methods are allowed. All the two methods are fully acceptable in mathematics. So the two must be mixed in the ratio of 2 is to 5. Let us look at question number 9 of the paper. Don't forget subscribing, liking, and sharing this video with your other friends. Solve the equation 2 sine squared x is equals to cos x plus 1 for x ranges from 0 to 360 degrees. One thing I want learners to understand here is that sine squared x plus cos squared x is equivalent to 1. So this means that sine squared x is equivalent to 1 minus cos squared x. So when I have 2 sine squared x being equivalent to cos x plus 1, I know that sine squared x can be equivalent to 1 minus cos squared x. So I do substitution, and this will become 2 into 1 minus cos squared x is equal to cos x plus 1. Opening the brackets, this will be 2 minus 2 cos squared x is equal to cos x plus 1. Allow I migrate everything to the right hand side. So that will become 2 cos squared x plus cos x plus 1 minus 2 is equals to 0. So this can be written further as 2 cos squared x plus cos x, positive 1 minus 2, that becomes minus 1, is equivalent to 0. And at this particular case, I can now say, let cos x be k. If that is the case, I'm now going to have this as 2k squared plus k minus 1 is equals to 0. So I'm going to look for two numbers. I'm going to look for two numbers such that the sum of the two numbers is 1 and the product is negative 2. And the two numbers, when you look at it well, they should be negative 1, 2. So that becomes now 2k squared minus k plus 2k minus 1 is equals to 0. So this will be k into 2k minus 1 plus 1 into 2k minus 1 is equals to 0. So this will become k plus 1, then 2k minus 1 is equals to 0. In this case, this will mean that our k can be negative 1 or a half. My k is negative 1 or a half. I hope up to that particular point we are all agreeing. After getting that as my k, I can make progress and say, what was our k? Our k was, we had said let cos x be k. So in the first case, it means, let me first draw the unit circle here. All students taking computer. It means that cos x is equals to negative 1. Then x will be the cos inverse of negative 1. Of positive 1. What is the cos inverse? Cos inverse of positive 1 is 0. The first value of x is 0. But now where is cos negative? Cos is negative in the where is cos negative in our quadrants? In positive 1 we need to figure out where cos is negative. Let me just fix my technical issue here shortly. Cos is negative in the second and third quadrants. Those are the quadrants where cos is negative. And in those quadrants, we need now to know how we should do the populations. We need to understand how we do the populations, and what is going to give us guidance is the formula to be used. We know that in the first quadrant, let me use a different ink. This first quadrant is normally theta. In the next quadrant here, it is 180 minus theta. In the third quadrant, it is 180 plus theta. In the fourth quadrant, it is 360 minus theta. Because we know now that cos is negative in the second and third quadrant, in the second quadrant, it is 180 minus theta, so that x is going to give you 180 degrees. In the third quadrant, it is still 180 plus theta, so 180 plus 0, it is just 180. What about in this case where we have cos x is equals to a half? Therefore, our values of x will be the cos inverse of a half. Let us see the cos inverse of a half. The cos inverse of a half, ladies and gentlemen, cos inverse of a half is 60 degrees. In the next quadrant, in the second quadrant, 180 minus theta, so this will be 120. In the third quadrant, 180 plus theta, this will be 240. But look at the range. I want us to be very, very keen with the range in use, because the range is from 0 to 360 degrees. The big question is the 360 degrees inclusive or exclusive? Look at it. X can be less than or equal to. X can be less than or equal to 360 degrees. That clearly tells you, learners, that even X can be 360 degrees. I'm not sure if I've communicated something there, but I feel that is very important. X can also be 360 degrees. So despite the fact that we have, maybe let me see how I'm going to give you guys guidance. So, sorry, in this, what have I done here? These ranges I've given them wrongly. Maybe before I talk much on those ranges, when X is 0, in the first round X can be 180, in the second round X can be 360 degrees. So this one will be giving you two values of X. We have 180 degrees and 360 degrees. In the next value whereby we have X, cos X is a half, is equivalent to half, then X is 60 degrees. Where is cos positive? Cos is positive in the first quadrant, theta, and in the fourth quadrant, 360 minus theta. So when you take 360 minus 60, you get exactly 300 degrees. Then after that, now we can combine all these into one and now state our values of X. I can comfortably, ladies and gentlemen, say X is equals to 60 degrees, 180 degrees, 300 degrees, and 360 degrees. Those are the values of X. Those are the values of X. 60, 180. I've included this 360 because I realized that it meets or it satisfies that given condition. It satisfies. But no, wait, let me see. Where X is negative, cos is negative in the second and third. So 360 is not inclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that. So here we'll only be having three values: 60, 180, and 300. Because it is in the second and third quadrant where the cos was negative. I think now that one is well sorted. So we have solutions of X being 60, 180, and 300. I now go to question number 9. Is it number 9? Number 10, sorry. We are now moving to question number 10. Make sure you've subscribed, liked, and invited your friend to this wonderful session so that they can also have a look at this, so that they can also have a look at this. Question number 10 says question number 10, three quantities P, Q, and R are such that the square root of P varies directly as Q and inversely as R. Find the percentage change in R if Q decreases in the ratio 4:5 and P increases by 40%. First of all, let us see this. They are saying that the square root of P, the three quantities are such that the square root of P varies directly as Q. The square root of P, that means that way. the square root of P varies directly as Q and inversely as R. Find the percentage change. So if this is the case, this is a joint variation. So I can say that root P is equal to KQ over R, where K is our constant. Find the percentage change in R if Q decreases in the ratio 4:5. So if we decrease, I want us to be very, very genuine and honest with this type of a question, because it has something that is trying to test. But I hope that my followers are going to give me a listening ear in this. Find the percentage change in R if Q decreases by in the ratio 4:5 and P increases by 40%. So ladies and gentlemen, this simply means, if we look at it well, find the percentage change in R. Because now we need to get the percentage change in R, I can make R the subject of the formula. If I make R the subject of the formula, I'm going to have now R being equivalent to KQ over root P. R is equal to KQ over root P. Now, Q decreases in the ratio 4:5. So to get the R, find the percentage change in R. To get the new R, R prime, it's going to be Q decreases in the ratio 4:5. So that will be 4/5 KQ prime all over, this is just KQ, all over, P decreases in the ratio, P increases by 40%. So if it increases by 40%, the new P becomes 140/100, which is 1.4. 1.4 of P. Root P, the root of that. And this literally means this will be, my R prime will now be given by, when you take 4.5, 4/5 divided by the root of 1.4, what are you going to get? That is what you need to take note of. I want to see it increases by this. I'm trying to see how we are going to make progress with this particular question here. This becomes 0.6761 of R. After that now, this is now the new value of R. Let us get the change in R. To find now the change in R, I'm going to take, to find the change, I'm going to have R minus 0.6761 R over the original value, which was R, now times times 100%. This gives me the percentage change. So that will become this, when you work it out, this will become 0.32. Find the percentage change. In fact, should be the new r minus the old r. But anyway, even this one is just still correct. We are going to have this as 0 point. Is it really 0 point when you multiply by 100? 1 minus that. This will be, let me see. Let me subtract. That is 0 point, that is 1 minus 0.6761. This becomes 0.3239 times 100. That becomes 32.39%. So what is the question now? Find the percentage change. Find the percentage change in R. We can say the percentage change in R is a decrease of 32.39%. A decrease of 32.39%. Question number 11. We are now going to question 11, where we have a circle with the center at 2, negative 2, passes through the points A, 2, 4, and B, 8H. Part A of the question, find the equation of the circle in the form of x squared plus y squared minus ax plus by plus c is equals to 0, where a, b, and c are integers, are constants. Remember, the general equation of the circle is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equals to r squared, where a and b are the coordinates of the center of our circle. So I can have it this way. I can have it this way. Look at how we are going to do. The first thing, maybe let me give a sketch so that you can relate. If this is my circle, this is the center, this is the point A. If I join like that, I can get first the radius. Let me get AO. OA, it will be 2, negative 2 minus minus 2, 4. This becomes 0, negative 6. Then the radius will be now the root of 0 squared plus negative 6 squared. So this becomes, our radius in this case is 6 units. That is the radius of our circle. After having the radius of our circle is 6 units, ladies and gentlemen, we can now have this as x minus a. What's our a? Our a is 2. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus minus 2. It will be like saying y plus 2 squared should be equal to 6 squared. So this becomes x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 is equal to 36. So this can be written as This can be x squared plus y squared minus 4x plus 4y plus 8 minus 36 is equal to 0. So this becomes x squared plus y squared. We are now going to have minus 4x plus 4y minus 24. Is it 24? 28 is equal to 0. So that is the equation. That is the equation of our circle, ladies and gentlemen. That is the equation of our circle. 8 is equal to 0. Remember to leave your answer exactly in the form in which the question stated. Part B, determine the values of h. So if this is A, and I can also have another point here, B. So that means OB is the radius of our circle. OB is the radius of our circle. So let us get the magnitude of OB. First, allow I get OB. OB will be given by B, which is 8h minus what are we subtracting? Minus O, the center which is 2, negative 2. So this will be 8 minus 2, this is 6. H minus negative 2, that is h plus 2. That is OB. Then after that, allow I get the magnitude of OB. So the magnitude of OB is equivalent to the radius of our circle. This should be equivalent to the radius of our circle. This means the magnitude of OB, which is given as 6 squared plus h plus 2 squared should be equivalent to the radius of our circle, which is 6. 6. In fact, this, I want us to get it this way, that the magnitude of OB should be equivalent to the magnitude of OA, which is 6. I want us to be very clinical with how we are approaching that particular question. So this means, this exactly means, because we have it as 6, let me see. I've said OB. First, did I get OB, or I could have just gotten the OB? I got my OB as 6 plus that. This should be equivalent to the radius squared. This one also I should be squaring. Exactly like that. No, I think the best as an analogy here is this. How do you get the magnitude? The magnitude is x squared plus y squared, then you square root to give you 6. Then this means when you remove this square root by squaring both sides, I'll be having 6 squared plus h plus 2 squared is equals to 6 squared. We are there now. When you are at that particular point, the 6 squared and the 6 squared can cancel out when you collect the like terms. I'm going to have now this is, let me be systematic. H plus 2 squared is equals to 6 squared minus 6 squared, which is a 0. So this is h plus 2 squared is equals to what? A 0. To remove the square, you are going to square root on both sides. So h plus 2 is equals to the root of 2, the root of 0, sorry. So this means h plus 2 is equals to 0. Therefore, the value of h is negative 2. The value of h, ladies and gentlemen, is negative 2 for that particular question. Question number 12. We are progressing well. Don't forget subscribing, liking, and sharing our videos with your other friends so that they can also enjoy these free lessons conducted under STEM Smart Academy. The lessons are totally free. All you need is a connection to the internet and an access to a digital device. 9 students, I'm looking at question number 12. 9 students scored some marks in a test. The deviations of the scores from the mean were as follows: 5, negative 2, 2, 1, Z, negative 3, negative 2, negative 4, and 0. Given that the mean of the scores was 13, find the values of Z. So we have the marks, the column for the marks, given that the mean of the scores is this. How do we get the deviations from the mean? Deviation from the mean is given by x minus x bar. But what is our x bar here? The mean is 13. So if this is the case that d is given by x minus x bar, now to get, these are the deviations from the mean. The deviations from the mean are given that way. This means to get the real values of x, x will be given by d plus, let me see. But now what we know that always the summation of the deviations of the mean is normally equivalent to 0. In fact, that should be the simplest way of doing it here. That when you sum the deviations from the mean, the summation of the deviations from the mean always is a 0. The summation of the deviations from the mean is usually a 0. So here I can say the summation of the deviations from the mean is equivalent to 0. This means when I take 5 plus negative 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus z plus negative 3 plus negative 2 plus negative 4 plus 0, these deviations should give me, this summation should be a 0. So let us see. 5 plus negative 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus negative 3 plus negative 2 plus negative 4 plus 0, that becomes negative 3. So this means that z minus 3 is equals to 0. It means the value of z is equivalent to 3. The value of z, ladies and gentlemen, is 3. After getting the value of z, should it really, I hope I've done it well. Let me confirm once again. Let me add this, let me just do it manually. This and this cancel out. 5 plus negative 3, that is negative 2. Negative 2. Let me see. Let me confirm because here I can mess. 5 plus negative 2, that is 3, plus 2, plus 1, minus 3 minus 2 minus 4. It is my hope that I've done it correct. It is my hope that I've done that summation correct. Let me confirm again. Was 4 negative or positive? That is, I'm just confirming. This is, I hope I'm doing it well. Let me see. 5 plus negative 2, that is 3. 3 plus 2, that is 5. 5 plus 1, this will become 6. 6 plus negative 3, that is positive 3. Positive 3 plus 2, that is positive 3 plus negative 2. Positive 3 plus negative 2, that is 1. Should it? That is 1. 1 plus negative 4, that is negative 3. Yes, z minus 3 is equal to 0. So the value of z is 3. After getting the value of z, ladies and gentlemen, as 3, what do we do here? Determine now the value, the quartile deviation. Before getting the quartile deviation, we need to get the values of x. Remember, we know that deviations are given by x minus x bar. So, in this case, we have the deviations. When you have the deviations, to get the values of x from these, it means that x will be given by, this can cross over, deviations plus the x bar. So let me populate the x. The x column, I'm going to have, remember the x bar is 13. 5 plus 13, that will be 18. Negative 2 plus 13, that is 12. No, not 12, but 11. 2 plus 13, that is 15. 1 plus 13, that is 14. Z, which is 3. 3 plus 15. 3 plus 13, that is 15. Negative 3 plus 13, that is 10. Negative 2 plus 13, that is 11. Negative 4 plus 13, that is 9. 0 plus 13, that is 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Before getting the quartile deviation, let's arrange this data in ascending order. I'll start with 9. After 9, we go to 10. Then 11. 11 appears twice. Then we'll be having 13. 14. 15 appears twice. Then 19. Should be, so not 19 but 18. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me get the Q2 first. The Q2 is the middle one. This and this cancel, this and this cancel, this and this cancel, this and this. So 13 here becomes our Q2. Is it true? Yes. Then this one here will give you your Q1, and this one here will give you your Q3. So let me first start by populating our Q1. Let me start by populating our Q1. Our Q1 will be 10 plus 11 divided by 2. When you take 10 plus 11, 21, divided by 2, that is 10.5. Then our Q3 will be given by 15 plus 15 divided by 2, which is 15. Then now how do you get the quartile deviation? Very important for you to know the formula. Quartile deviation is given by Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So that is 15 minus 10.5 divided by 2. So when you deal with it, when you deal with it well, this is going to give you 15 minus 10.5 divided by 2. That is 2.25. It is my hope that I did not mess in my obtaining of D. How I summed these values mattered a lot here. And it is my hope I did well, because 5 plus negative 2 is 3. In fact, this and this will cancel out. This is 5 plus 1 is 6, plus negative 3 is positive 3, plus negative 2, that becomes positive 1, plus negative 4, that is negative 3. So Z plus negative 3 is equal to 0. Yes, I think it's correct. We are done with that one. So you can see how you are supposed to approach that statistics 2 question. Ladies and gentlemen, allow I get to question number 13. A very interesting one. The position vectors of A and B are OA 3, negative 2, negative 4. OB is 4, 5, negative 2. Given that a point X divides AB externally in the ratio 3 is to negative 2, sorry, 3 is to 2, find AX. Because the term externally has been used, the ratio is 3 to 2. If the word externally had not been reused, this ratio could have been written as 3 is to negative 2. Still they mean the same thing. So I'm going to apply what is called the ratio theorem approach in answering this question. I'm going to apply the ratio theorem approach. Let me say this is my AB. My X divides externally at this particular point. This is my O. Have I done it well? So, in fact, I've done it. I'm not happy with how I've done it. So what happens here? The ratio is 3 is to negative 2. 3 is to negative 2. So this means 3 is to negative 2. It means A here is 3. The total ratio is negative 1. The total ratio is 1, sorry, not negative 1. The total ratio there, 3 plus negative 1 is 1. So this will be 3 over 1, negative 2 over 1. Then we are going to swap them this way. So I'll be having, find AX, not even OX. I'll be having, first I want to get OX. To find AX, it will be, first let me get OX. OX by ratio theorem, it will be negative 2 over 1 of OA plus negative 3 over 1 of OB. This gives you your OX. This will be giving you your OX. So this is like saying my OX will be negative 2 of OA. What's our OA? 3, negative 2, negative 4 plus negative 3. Is it really negative 3 or positive? 3 over, no, it will be now plus 3, not negative. I want you to be very keen. This one here is positive. So it is now plus 3 into plus 3 into OB, which is a 4, 5, negative 2. Upon opening the brackets, OX will be given by negative 6, 4, and 8 that way, plus 12, 15, and negative 6. When you sum this gives you 6, 19, and 2. This is our OX. Now when they talk about AX, AX is OX minus OA. Our OX is 6, 19, 2 minus OA, which is 3, negative 2, negative 4. So this becomes 6 minus 3 is 3. 19 minus 2 is 21. 2 minus 4 is 6. I expect that to be our OX. Remember, they are just saying find OX. We are supposed to find OX. And that is how simple that question was to be solved, and you earn your 3 marks. One thing about the ratio theorem was so the one that is involving external division of a line is how you get the total, the summation. And the total ratio is simply obtained by adding. I think that has been well elaborated, ladies and gentlemen. With math, all you need is to do a daily practice. There is nothing at all to worry about. So as I've said, the value of AX is, because they want it in column vector, it will be 3, 21, 6. Let me look at question number 14. I look at question number 14, ladies and gentlemen. An object of area 12 square centimeters is mapped onto an image of area 144 square centimeters by the transformation matrix M, P negative 3, 11, P minus 10. Find the values of P. One thing we need to do is to get the determinant of this matrix of transformation. The determinant will be P into P minus 10, that is the product of elements in the main diagonal, minus the product of elements in the minor diagonal, which is negative 3 times 11. So this will become P squared minus 10P minus negative 33. So finally, we are going to have our determinant is P squared minus 10P plus 33, because a negative times a negative becomes a positive. After getting that as our determinant, we can get what is called our area scale factor, which is given by taking the area of the image, which is 144, divided by the area of the object, which is 12. Therefore, our area scale factor becomes 12. There is a relationship existing between the area scale factor and the determinant of the matrix of transformation, where we know that the determinant of the matrix of transformation is equivalent to the area scale factor. That means P squared minus 10P plus 33 is equivalent to 12. At this one crossing over, we are going to have P squared minus 10P plus 33 minus 12 is equals to 0. So this is P squared minus 10p. This will it be plus 11 is equals to 0. I'm looking for two numbers such that the sum is negative 10 and the product of the two numbers is 11. Where? Do we have these numbers in existing? No, I've done this one wrong. What is 33 minus 12 is 21, not 11. This should be 21. I was wondering why is it not syncing. This should be 21. So I'm looking for two numbers whose sum should give me negative 10, but the product should give me 21. The two numbers are negative 3 and negative 7. So this will be p squared minus 3p minus 7p plus 21 is equals to 0. So this will be p into p minus 3 minus 7 into p minus 3 is equals to 0. When you are here, you are going to have this as p minus 7, then p plus 3. Is it p? So it is p minus 7 and p minus 3. P minus 7 and p minus 3 should give me a 0. In the first case, p minus 7 is equals to 0. Then the value of p will be equivalent to 7. In the other case, p minus 3 is equals to 0. That means that p can be equivalent to 3. The question was find the value of p. You are told to find the value of p. You are told to find the value of p in such a question. So I think we've gotten the two values of p. Let us test them. If p is 7, this will be 7. This will be p minus 3, p minus 10, so that is 7 minus 10, that is negative 3. So when I take 7 times negative 3, that's negative 21. Then negative 21 minus negative 33, that becomes 12. What about when p is 3? When this is 3 here, this will be p minus 7. This will become negative 7. So that becomes negative 21 minus negative 33. Again, just becomes 12. So p can be 7 or negative 3, which is very correct. Allow. I think we are done with that question number 14, ladies and gentlemen. Let me have a look at question number 15. Question number 15. Question number 15. We need to be very vigilant with these questions and how we are approaching them. We need to be very, very vigilant with these questions and how we approach them. Keep subscribing. I'm seeing so many people following. That is quite excellent work. That is excellent work, learners. Share this link widely to your other friends so that they can also enjoy the lesson, so that they can also enjoy this particular lesson with us. Let us look at question number 15. Keep dropping your comments. Keep dropping your comments so that we can support one another. The cash price of a motorcycle is 80,000 shillings. Katana bought the motorcycle on hire purchase by paying a deposit followed by 10 equal monthly installments of 8,533 shillings each. Given that 2% per month compound interest was charged on the balance, calculate the amount of deposit Katana paid to the nearest shilling. So, what we have to do here, we can say, let the balance after the deposit be P. I can say, let the balance after the deposit, BP. This is the amount that is now maybe that remained after someone made the deposit. Then we do have the compound interest formula. The compound interest formula is usually that amount is equals to principal into 1 plus r over n, r over 100 to the power of n. So this balance is what we need to achieve. The balance is what we need to pay. So that balance becomes our amount. So what is our balance? Our balance is P. So I'm going to say P is equal to, the principal is, the principal by paying a deposit followed by 10 equal monthly installments of 8,533. So this will become our principal, 8,533 into 1 plus what is our rate? Our rate here becomes 2% per month. So that will be 2% per month will be 2 over 100 to the power of n, which is 10 months. Is it making sense? It should make some sense. So this will now become that our P will be equivalent to, when I take 1 plus 2 over 100 to the power of 10, multiplied this by 8533. Wait, let me see. No, have I really done it the right way? Let us relook at the question. The deposit here is, do we have the deposit? No, we don't have the deposit with us. But because now that we need to know that here that the balance after the deposit, remember the balance after the deposit, that is the remaining amount to be paid, is equivalent to the value of the 10 equal monthly installments. That is one thing that I want my learners to understand. I think the best we can do here, they follow 10 equal monthly installments of this amount. So the final amount paid by these people, maybe even before I apply this, I'm just trying to figure out how this came into place. because we can see clearly that they paid 10 equal installments of 8,500 shillings each. In other words, after the 10 months, the amount they cleared is 85,330. 85,330. At this rate, I'm just trying to see what should have been done here. I'm seeing people tuning in. That is excellent. Let the balance after the deposit, I've said let the balance after our deposit be P. After that, P into 1. I think 2% per month. Maybe what I think the best we can do, we've said amount is equal to this. So, no, I think there is a gap. The cash price of a motorcycle is 80,000. Let me just restart it because I'm seeing there is something. Allow I erase this other part so that we can simplify the question. We can simplify this particular question. We can literally simplify the question. Let us look at it now as a team. Drop your comments. The cash price of a motorcycle is 80,000 shillings. Katana bought the motorcycle on hire purchase by paying a deposit followed by 10 equal monthly installments of 8,533 shillings. Given that the 2% per month compound interest was charged on the balance, calculate the amount of the deposit paid to the nearest shilling. Now, we know that the compound interest formula is usually A, amount is given by P into 1 plus R over 100 to the power of N. So I've said let the balance after the deposit be P. After making the balance after the deposit be P, now after 10 months, if no installments were paid, if there is no installment paid, then amount could have been given by P into 1 plus 2 over 100 to the power of N, which is 10. But now because this could have been the formula we could have used, but now because the installments are paid monthly, the accumulated value of the 10 installments at the end of the 10th month will be given by, I want us we agree here, this should be given by the cash price. Let me first list the things. Our cash price here is 80,000. That is our cash price. Amount paid, you know the amount paid here, 10 equal monthly installments of this amount. So it is 85, 33 times 10. In 10 months they paid 85, 330. But now there is also a certain deposit. We have a certain deposit of a deposit. We've said we don't have the deposit, but now we've said let the balance, let me use the term balance. After making the deposit, you have the balance that is to be paid. Let the balance be P. Let the balance after the deposit be P. And the interest rate is 2%. So applying that particular formula, we can simply say that applying this formula, that amount is given by the principal, the remaining balance, which we've said to be P, into 1 plus 2 over 100. This will be 2 over 100 power n, which is 10. So this will become that our amount will be equivalent to, when I take 1 plus 2 over 100 to the power of 10, that becomes 1.2189942p. That is the amount. After now we've gotten that as our amount, after we've gotten that now as our amount, ladies and gentlemen, what are we now going to get? We need to be very smart here on this particular calculation. Let me fix the network issue here so that the live stream continues. I fixed issues with the network. Apologies once again. Now, after getting this as the value for amount, we need to know that the first installment earns interest for 9 months, the second for 8 months, and so on. So, if that is the case, A will be 1, the first. This becomes more like a GP. I want you to take of it more like a GP. And if it behaves in exactly that manner, our R will be, this is the rate, that's N. Then the sum of N the sum of 10 months, sum of 10 terms, will be given by A into R power n minus 1 over R minus 1. So this will become A is 1 into R power n, our power 10, that will be 1.02 to the power of 10, to the power of 10 here, my pen writing, to the power of 10, my pen has got some smaller issues, but I'm sorting out. So this becomes to the power of 10 with n, which is 10, minus 1 over R, which is 1.02 minus 1. Upon solving it alone, this is going to give you the sum of 10 terms, being equivalent to 10.9495. Therefore, the accumulated installments now will be now 8533 times 10.9495 to give you 93,434.88 shillings. After we've gotten this amount, one thing now you need to understand, we can now equate the two. The 1.21889,442p being equivalent to 43.488. Then this will mean that my P will be 4.88 all over 1.2189442, yes, which gives me 76,656 as the P. That is the money that remained after the deposit. Now, after that is the balance that remained after the balance that remained after making the deposit. To get now the deposit, we are going to take the cash price, 80,000 minus 76,656, to give you a deposit of 33.44 shillings. 33.44 shillings. The last question is question number 16. Question number 16. The figure below shows a graph of the function y is equal to x squared minus 4x. Calculate the exact area of the shaded region. When you are told to get the exact area, this is the region where this is by integration. First, let's get the coordinates at this point. At the point of intersection, or at the x-axis literally, y is equals to 0. So when I have x squared minus 4x being equivalent to 0, I have x squared minus 4x is equals to 0. So this will mean I can factor out x. I'll be left with x minus 4 is equals to 0. This means my x is equal to 0 or 4. So the coordinates here is 4. If the coordinate there is 4, then we are going to integrate. We are now going to integrate the curve x squared minus 4x x squared minus 4x, with x ranging from 0 to 4. So this means when you integrate, you increase the power by 1, then divide by the new power. So this will be x cubed over 3 minus 4x squared over 2 plus c, then with your limits 4, 0. So this becomes, when we insert, this is 4 cubed over 3 minus 2 into 4 squared plus c, then minus 0 cubed over 3 minus 2 into 0 squared plus c. So this will give me 4 cubed over 3, 4 cubed over 3, that will be 64 over 3, 64 over 3 minus 2 times 4 squared is 16, so that is minus 32, then minus 0. So this will become 64 over 3 minus 32. You get negative. So you can see our area here is negative 10 2 over 3 square units. The negative here, learners, just indicates that the area lies, or the region lies, below the x-axis. Therefore, ignore the negative and put your area as 10 2 over 3 square units. 10 2 over 3 square units as your final answer to that particular question. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the question with your other friends so that they can also enjoy the same from STEM Smart Academy.